we're going to get some silly legs here. We're going to get 2 whole strands. I'm going to fold these around the thread and make sure they're even on both ends. I'm just going to go ahead and lock those in. Now I'm going to do the other side now. And we'll do the same thing on this side. Pull them up and get mixture on each side. Just wind them in. I'm going to pull on these a little bit on the front ones and just get them out of the way so I can make a few turns going forward. I'm going to wrap the chenille about 2 turns. And I'm going to tie it again. Tie it off right there. Just pull that out of the way, and I'm going to advance that just a hair. And then I'm going to go back, and I'm going to make the fold on 2 of them. Okay, I'm going to make 1 turn. You can kind of push that, shove it back. You need a little space for your hackle. Now I'm going to wind that off and make the cut. And now I've got, should have a little shank still clear for my slapping. Now the thing with this is you want to find a good piece that's fairly long. And you will go through some that have a stem that's got a little too much memory in it. That's what you don't want. You want that stem to be soft. You can kind of even tie in some of this little tough looking marabou stuff if you want to. Some people like to do that. I'm going to cut up just a hair on that stem. It seems to be thicker down there. So I'm going to come up about, I don't know, a little under the halfway mark. I'm going to tie this in where this concave is kind of going over that way. Make a couple turns and make sure you got a little thread base so you can wind this on. And I like to palmer each time that I wrap this. I like to make sure that stuff really goes back. Kind of pull it as you turn and really lay it down nice. I don't know if people do this, but I do. I'm going to take this and tie this off, about 2 turns. Now, instead of cutting that, I'm going to pull it back and I'm going to tie on top of it. That'll really clean up that eye. You won't have a crowded eye at all. And then I'm going to cut that little end off the tip. Make a good little thread base, and then I'm going to whip it. Okay, so I built that. I'm going to make sure these legs are all the same. The rule of thumb on this really is you just want them to kind of go, I don't know, you don't want them to go past the marabou tail, and you don't want them to go too short. So there's a happy medium. So that's the back of the fly. Now we're going to take the front hook that we tied the eyes on, and we're going to use 210. We're going to use black. And we're going to grab the hard mason mono, 25 pound. I'm tying this right behind the eye on the side of the hook shank towards me. And I'm just going to get this back here. And now I'm going to use some beads. A little bit about beads. There's 2 types of beads. I don't know if you can see these, but there's killer caddis beads, and you can go to a bead store and buy beads. The thing I like about some of these beads is there's a silver lining inside. That's pretty important. That'll really hold the bead a little longer, but if you can't find that, it's not a big deal. Just find you some beads that are round inside enough to put the mono through and be able to take it back through after you thread on the back fly. I usually use 2 of these. Some people use 3, some use 4. If you have a marabou fly like a TNA bunker, the marabou really takes up the whole body of the fly. You can get away with using more since you really are going to see this jointed section in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and use 2. It really acts as more of an attractor. I think all fish see blood. So it just kind of helps the fly out. It can foul up, that is going to happen, but it's not a big deal. You can tie it without beads. That's kind of how the fly is tied, but I don't think it really matters. I think it kind of stays together. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the down eye and I'm going to thumb that through with the hook point facing down. Now once I got that in there, I'm going to take this mono in and I'm going to go back through the beads. And now I'm going to, if you notice, this has kind of a shift to it. What you can do is take this mono and go back behind, away from you on that other side of the hook shank and tie it down. That will really make that line up straight. Once you have it lined up, your beads are kind of off the back. You don't want them laying on the back bend of the hook, so make sure they're just kind of hanging right off that, and then just tie that down. Now make each wrap side by side all the way up till you get to behind the eye. This isn't going to go anywhere, so you don't have to worry about it slipping, or most of the fish you catch will definitely hit the front hook anyways. They're going to hit the eye. They're going after the front of the fly. If you do have a hit on the back, it's usually a smaller fish.